Good afternoon, everybody out there. This is your Fanatical Pregame show. We've got the Brownies against the Steelers on Monday Night Football. Yes, indeed. We got Steve Gill in the house. I'm John Suchan, and we just love having you along, following us. Steve, it's been amazing. The last week, 2 weeks, our following, our downloads, everything has just been skyrocketing. We want to thank all of you out there that have been following our new show here on whatever platform you're following us on, Apple, Spotify. If you watch us on the X or Facebook, I think we've gathered almost 150 to 200 new followers on the X, and our downloads are doubling in the first 2 weeks of this, first 3 weeks of this month. So exciting stuff. We got a big game tonight, Steve. What are you thinking?
Well, first of all these followers, we must be doing something right, or everybody's slowing down to look at the car wreck. One or the other. Well, everything's been said that's been said about this game. Steelers at home. Browns haven't won since 2003. I remember that game. That was a Thursday nighter. Best known for two things. The camera's catching a Steeler fan putting peanuts up his nose, and Hines Ward leaving at about the 2-minute mark and going back to the locker room.
Oh,
because the Browns drubbed them.
What year? It was 2003?
2003. It was a Thursday night game.
And was that was in Pittsburgh? No.
Might have been a Sunday. I don't know.
Okay.
It wasn't a Monday. I know it was a primetime game, and it was in Pittsburgh. Last time they won a regular season game in Pittsburgh. And, of course, if they can find a way to win, they'll be 2-0 for the first time since 93. So.
Yeah, Bill Belichick was coach. Bill Belichick is still trying to figure out how to throw the red challenge flag. He looked like a little 5-year-old last night. Did you see that throw that he had?
Well, when you keep it in your sock, maybe you should keep it in his pocket.
Yeah, I didn't know what he was doing. That was very strange.
That was
that was a very odd game last night. I mean, the Dolphins really dominated that game from start to finish. New England somehow stayed in it and had an opportunity there at the end, and the referees were going to give him that first down, and he was short on that fourth down. But anyway, but we have better things to talk about than the New England Patriots and the Miami Dolphins. We got the Brownies and the Steelers. Now, this rivalry, I'd like to just touch base on it a little bit here in a minute, but let's just talk about right now, today. I know Paul Brown, the great guy from England, has been traveling across Ohio and Pennsylvania for the last week and a half.
He's tailgating right now in Pittsburgh.
Yes, he is. So he's enjoying it there. I had the opportunity one year to go to Pittsburgh years ago, back before the Browns left town in the mid 90s when the Browns were still kind of decent. But I remember getting that game was awful and the Browns lost. But tonight's game, okay, so the big news, we're still kind of waiting. Amari Cooper, wide receiver, sort of re-aggravated the groin injury over the weekend. He did make the trip. It sounds like it's going to be a game time decision. Anything more, Steve, on that?
He's going to try to go. He's not 100%. Interesting that in the pre-game conversations with I think Joe Buck's working the game. Buck said that Kevin Stefanski and the coaches believe he's going to play.
Okay.
They didn't elevate anybody from the practice squad. If he wasn't going to play, they were going to elevate Austin Watkins. So it's looking like he's going to play. Juan Thornhill is, at first I heard he's about 80%. And then I heard the only way he's not going to play is unless he falls off the bus. Okay. So he is playing. So.
Well, it was disappointing not to see him in week one after all of the hoopla and bringing him in. But, it is a long season, and the Browns were just dynamite. I'll tell you, I got to say this, and I know I'm kind of jumping around tonight, but let's talk about Deshaun Watson for a second, because I talked a little bit about it this morning on my Johnny Cleveland podcast. There have been many fans and some Browns analysts, like some of the folks over there at ESPN Cleveland, who were still being critical of Deshaun Watson earlier in the week because he wasn't throwing for over 300 yards on a regular basis. Adam Goldhammer and Jake Trotter were out there complaining to their colleague. I can't think of the guy's name. I'm drawing a blank. I don't know why all the time, but I guess to Tony Rizzo. Yeah. And so I'm in Tony Rizzo's side. The Browns don't need Deshaun Watson to go off and throw for 300 yards in every game. And I just thought it was just a talking point. And I just thought it was ridiculous. And maybe they're just doing it for props. Probably they are. But it's just annoying to listen to people who are annoyed that Deshaun isn't throwing for all these yards and they're paying him all this money, but he doesn't need to. He's doing everything. I thought he played a really good game under the conditions last week.
In the second half, yeah. He missed some opportunities in the first half, but
yes,
as you well know, the weather was a little bit of a factor.
I'm still drying out, man.
All I can go on is what his record is in primetime games. He's 6-3.
Yeah.
He's thrown for 68% completion, 21 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and a passer rating of 121. So if that Deshaun Watson shows up, Browns are going to win.
Yeah. I mean, we want to keep him upright as well. I mean, the kid's been sacked 12 times in the 2 games that he's played against the Steelers. I saw that yesterday when I was writing up a couple of my articles, and I just thought, oh man, 5 times he got sacked. No, 7 times in the game against the Steelers in that last game of the season a year ago. And then 5 times when he was playing with the Texans back in a game like back in 2020 or 2019. So we got to keep the kid upright.
Yeah. Tackle situation. I'm more worried about Jedrick Wills than I am Dwan Jones. I mean, Wills is, but the Steelers have already said that TJ Watt will line up across from Dwan Jones about 60% of the time.
Yes.
So that is a problem. But if you do designed rollouts, lots of tight end, wide receiver, running back screens, that'll slow down the pass rush. And it wouldn't surprise me to see a lot of more designed runs by Watson. Oh, yeah.
Very, very much so. I mean, they have so many options. That's what I talked about in my Deshaun. I think that Deshaun is the major catalyst in this game, just because I was concerned at the time when I wrote the piece about Amari Cooper, but I also talked about all these other options that Deshaun has, but he's got to make the right decisions more times than not. He can make mistakes because he's got a really talented group. But we're gonna need him to play decently. That doesn't mean for him throwing for those 300 yards. It just means making good decisions. And I think I saw many of those in this, like you said, in the second half. And
in the second half, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and the run in the first half too. That whole series, that last 4 minutes of the first half in that first game, both teams had opportunities, and Cleveland gets it back a second time in that last couple seconds, and they really made it count. I think Elijah Moore will be big again in this game. Of course, Nick Chubb.
Marquise,
yes. Yeah.
Let's send him deep a couple times. He was open a couple times against the Bengals. But...
Twice, yeah. Yeah.
And I am not impressed with the Steelers secondary. I went back and watched the 49er game. The Steelers offense, first 5 possessions were 3 and outs.
Yeah.
And when San Francisco got the ball back in the first 4, it went touchdown, field goal, touchdown, field goal.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you listen to these, you listen to all these Steeler fans. You probably know a few Steeler fans, and they're all, they're disappointed with what happened, but then they always come back and say, well, San Francisco, did you watch them play against those Rams? Boy, they did really well. I mean, I don't feel so bad that I'm a Steeler fan now because, they played against a great team. I'm like, well, okay. But You're at home. You should not be getting beat 30-7. If the Browns get beat 30-7 by the 49ers in week 6, then we can have a conversation. But
right.
I just
exactly.
Yeah. I don't know. I think this is such a great opportunity for the team, for the Brownies. They just, if things don't go right, if they end up losing this game, which I don't think they're going to, but if they do, again, it's not the end of the world. It doesn't help with little things, though. Let's talk about our former Browns quarterback just for a 30-second pause here. Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield did he's done a hell of a job in these first 2 weeks of the season. It's nice when you have Mike Evans as your wide receiver. Yeah, right. Yeah. Just target him and you'll be okay. I'm happy for Baker. I spoke about it today on the Johnny Cleveland podcast. Go back and listen to that this morning. And Baker made a lot of mistakes, and that season back in 2021 was just crap. But I'm happy the kid is healthy again. He brought tremendous success to this organization, and I hope people can go back and look at that 20 or 30 years from now and really give the kid respect for what he helped do. It wasn't all on him. There were obviously other players in the game, and Nick Chubb, Jarvis Landry, all these guys, the defense, they all contributed. But Baker brought that spirit, that energy to this fan base that we have now. But I think we have Baker to thank for that a little bit. What are your thoughts on Baker? You don't care.
I don't care.
He doesn't play for us anymore.
He doesn't play for the Browns, so I don't really care. I know a lot of my wife's family, because they live in Tampa, are Tampa Bay fans. So I haven't heard from a single one of them. So I haven't heard from any of my nephews. Usually by this time, if Tom Brady and the Bucks were 2-0, they'd be sending me text messages, but I haven't heard a peep. So I guess they are a little guarded in their enthusiasm. They're in wait and see mode, and so am I. Good for him. Yeah, I'm happy he's found a landing spot, but it's only 2 games. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a quick break here. We'll pause for some commercials so we can pay the bills, and then we'll look at kind of what your expectations for the game itself, and a little bit of this and that afterwards. Oh, plus, by the way, I want to show this to you. Hold on a second here. Oh, look at this. I have we got the hat. They got the hat. Yeah, we're going to give this hat away after the break. So if you are waiting, and we had some, I think it's around 18,000 hits on the post, and we've had nearly about 150 to 200 people repost for this hat. And I said, we've got about 150, 160 new followers just in the last 2 weeks on the X. So, okay, we'll be right back. We're going to pause for commercials. We're going to be silent here for about 2 seconds. And we're back. How is everybody? Yeah, we're back. We're the Fanatical Elves Network, and this is our Fanatical Pregame show. Yes, indeed. I know you are getting pumped. You're getting ready. You want to see the Brownies beat those Steelers. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Yeah, you're hearing it. You're feeling it. You're getting pumped up right now. You're in your garages. You're in your basements. It's 5:20 right now when we're recording this. We have about 3 hours. So your tailgate has started. You're listening to the Fanatical Elves Network, and we appreciate you. You can find us on Apple, on Spotify. Download us, follow us. We will bring you content every week with Steve Gill here. We got Elliot Cannell. We've got Joel Cade. We got Rod Bloom. All these guys contribute with some great content every week, from the Browns Blitz to the Dog Pound South Show to the Browniacs. And What the Elf Was That are all coming up. We're talking about we'll see how the game goes tonight, but we'll maybe be on later night for a post-game show. Of course, we're going to have to if they destroy them, and it's an early win, and we know that they're going to win 51-0 like they did back in what year was that? 2000 and was it 2000?
Oh, that was Bud Carson's.
Yeah,
year. That had to be
2006?
89.
No. Oh, 89. That's right. Way back when. That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. You are correct. All right. So I want to get your analysis kind of on what you think is going to take place tonight. What are you thinking it's gonna look like? By the way, I'm wearing my all white, alternative uniform here that I got Nick Chubb. I got the elf hat here. I even got white shorts on, but you can't see those right now. So what are your with the Browns gonna be wearing their alternative uniforms, which are gonna look awesome? What are your initial takes on what would to expect early on, maybe midpoint? How do you see this game playing out, Steve?
Give the ball to Nick Chubb.
Yes.
When he gets
amen, 80, sister, or amen, brother.
When he gets 80 or more yards, the Browns are undefeated against the Steelers. So
really,
there's your simple, maybe simplistic, but no, they've got to control the pass rush of the Steelers. Steelers, even though they're missing players, Cam Hayward, they're still a dangerous team. But their offense on defense, they're still got talent. Like I said, I'm not too worried about their secondary. I'm just what I saw in that 49er game. I mean, that one wide receiver for the 49ers just was catching everything that came to him.
Who was that? Who was that wide receiver?
Ayuk or something like that. I'd never heard of him.
Right.
Number 11.
Right. Okay.
The first touchdown, he was by himself in the end zone. He was just standing there. On defense, Jim Schwartz is going to bring the pressure. Steelers' offensive line isn't very good, and I know they're going to try to. The Steelers will set up. They'll do double tight ends. They'll try to run Najee Harris as much as possible. But
yes.
There's a difference between blitzing and pressure. And they have the talent to bring the pressure and force Kenny Pickett into mistakes. That's what I want to see.
Small hands.
Osh, gosh, bagosh.
I mean, on paper, the Browns have the more potent, they're the more talented group here tonight, right?
Yeah. But it's in Pittsburgh. And you gotta get over that hump,
right?
And I think this is the team to do it,
right?
And the X factor, I think the X factor is going to be special teams with Bubba Ventrone. He has played against the Steelers both as a Brown and a Patriot, and he knows. And when he was with the Patriots, they were always big games because it was Tom Brady versus Ben Roethlisberger.
Yes. So
he knows how it feels not only to lose the Steelers, he also knows how to beat the Steelers. So right. I would like to see a great special teams play. And also remember, the Steelers, since Big Ben retired, are 9-9.
Ah,
that's
there you go.
500
there you go.
Team.
No, it's true. It really is a combination of. It was a combination of Mike Tomlin and Ben Roethlisberger. You go back historically and look. If the Browns had taken Big Ben, what that would have. But what year was he drafted? Roethlisberger. That was.
Butch Davis was the coach. And
Yep.
I believe it was 03. 04?
Okay. And
04. I think it was 04.
Wasn't that right around the same time that the Browns took like Brady Quinn?
Brady Quinn was 07. They had signed the former 49er quarterback.
Jeff Garcia.
Jeff Garcia.
Yeah, and he won the game in 2003 against the Baltimore Ravens at home.
2004, the season.
Oh, 2004.
2004, okay. Yeah. And he was the reason they didn't draft Roethlisberger.
Right.
Because he had a quarterback.
Yep. Right.
There were still people who said, well, you should draft for the future. Here as a kid from Miami, Ohio, why not? But Davis thought that he knew more about personnel than other people.
Yeah.
Great coach. Terrible GM.
Yeah, that was a great year. You think about some of those years, though, back then. that playoff. It was it 2003 that they made the playoff?
2004 they went 7-9. 2005 they went 9-7, and that's when they had the big playoff game. Kelly Holcomb
against Pittsburgh.
Against Pittsburgh, yeah,
who we're talking about tonight. Yeah, and really, honest to God, I mean, we controlled that game. I go back and watch that game on replay, and it really wasn't until the latter stages of that game that, I mean, the Browns really just outplayed Pittsburgh. It's just one.
Yeah, they went into prevent defense and they prevented them to win. Dennis Northcutt catches that third down pass. Browns win.
I remember that so damn well. It's so bad. That's a horrible moment.
You think it's bad? I've actually talked to Kelly Holcomb, and he's still that game bothers him. Yeah, he lives south of here. He went to MTSU.
Okay,
and he's a high school coach. And
is he really?
His son is a quarterback at the high school. So
that's a neat thing that's pretty cool.
He's great. He hates the phrase when you talk about a quarterback, when they say, "Well, he's a game manager," and his answer is, "Well, yeah, that's their job. They're the quarterback."
Right, yeah. So, the Browns, just a little, dig on the Steelers fan base who, they've been struggling of late. Like you just said, 9-9 since Big Ben retired.
Yeah. They were 9-8 last year, and they lost
the big crybaby. Yeah. But I talked about this on my show this morning, and you've probably, I know, have done the research on this, but from 1950 to 1974, the Browns just clobbered everybody. The Steelers. I mean, the Steelers were the laughing stock, and they had a 35 win to 13 loss combined record. It wasn't until 74-75 when they started drafting all those guys like Terry Bradshaw, Franco Harris, Mean Joe Green, Lynn Swann, all those guys.
Jack Lambert.
Yeah, the list goes on and on and on. And then it really hurt the Browns with this rivalry was when the Browns got taken away by Baltimore and then came back in 99, and the Steelers just totally dominated that time period for such a long time. So now they have this, I think, 79 wins to 61 losses total win-loss record. And Pittsburgh fans and people that follow the Steelers still like, and even Steeler players who are young and don't understand anything about rivalries, they don't consider Cleveland like a rival. And I'm like, holy crap, hold the phone here. Yeah, well, you are. This is a rivalry. And I think this is a really good step back to where we're gonna kick some ass tonight. And we're gonna remind those Steelers and their fan base that Cleveland's not, we're not going anywhere. And Kevin Stefanski has brought along these players. He's not got Jim Schwartz in-house, who is his mental game and how he's preparing these guys is just phenomenal. It's funny because then you hear about from fans now, even after just week one, I hear Browns fans going, well, that Jim Schwartz, he's so good. Boy, he's going to be taken by some other team next year. He won't even be here for a year because some other team's going to gobble him up and make them their head coach. I'm like, hold the phone. No. Like, come on now. Like, Jim Schwartz is an older guy. Why would he? I don't know. I don't see the guy leaving. I mean, maybe he will leave eventually, but I don't see him leaving right away. I don't know what your take is on Jim Schwartz. Yeah. Would you ever see that happen?
No, the trend now is, when you're hiring coaches, to get these young geniuses who think they know more about football than anybody, who like to go for it on fourth down anywhere on the field.
Yes,
which I don't get.
Like
that.
Last night, the Jets game again. He went for it fourth down at his own 19. He made it, but then they did 3 and out again. So it's like, well, screw that. Like,
well, while I was watching the Bengals Ravens game, I had of course, because I live in Nashville, I had the Titans Charger game on.
Yes.
And the Chargers head coach, how he hadn't been fired yet, I don't know.
Yeah.
I have never been impressed with him. They have a great defense, and I mean defensive line. Bosa was just killing Tannehill all day long.
Okay.
But Then he makes stupid, punt. Play,
right.
Don't go for it on fourth down from your
is that how they got
40-something yard line.
Is that what happened at the end of that game?
Yeah, he made a lot of stupid moves that he could have iced that game, but then it got into overtime, and of course, Titans kicked the field goal. So,
wow.
But their offensive line is horrendous, and besides Bosa, Chargers can't stop the run.
Okay.
I thought it was bad last year. It's even worse. I mean, Henry was just.
Are you surprised by any other teams right now in the league? Has anybody jumped out at you that let me just mention this because you're talking about Tennessee and you live there in Nashville. Them getting this big win against San Diego or the Chargers.
Broke the Browns 8-game losing streak.
Well, and the Browns now will be playing them. They'll be traveling here to Cleveland, and people I feel have overlooked this game all since the schedules have come out, because it wasn't but 2 years or 3 years ago that Tennessee came in at the home opener for the Brownies and crushed the Browns here in Cleveland. So I know the teams are different, but they still have Derrick Henry and other capable players. I hope that we don't see a real downward spiral here. If the Browns, let's say the Browns win, that they follow that up with lay an egg against Tennessee because they're overlooking them.
Happen.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Totally different. Yeah. Totally different mindset in the coaching staff this year. If the Browns can beat the Steelers, I expect them to beat the Titans. You want to see a bad offensive line, wait till you watch that one.
Really?
Their best player was their number one draft pick, and he was hurt and didn't even play in the game. So, and
so we have to avoid injuries for the Brownies tonight. Obviously,
yes, that's the the Browns have been very lucky. They haven't had a major injury.
Well, except for Jack Conklin.
Good. Jack Conklin, yeah, that's true. I forgot about that. But let's see what happens.
So tell me what you're thinking tonight. Give me a player of the game for you. Who do you think the player of the game could be? If you had to,
I hope it's Elijah Moore. I would love to see them use him more as a weapon. I mean, they really didn't use him against Cincinnati. Yeah, that one reverse, that one sweep, Cincinnati snipped out really quick, but Elijah Moore got smart and turned it around and went the other direction. That shows you a good speed, but I'd love to see Elijah Moore have a big game.
Yeah,
I'd like to see them use the tight ends a little more than they did in the first game. They didn't throw to him at all in the first half.
Well, it was funny.
You got three good tight ends. You got David Njoku and a guy he already knows, Akins. So let's work it out. On defense, I'd love to see Juan Thornhill have an impact game, and probably Anthony Walker, because remember his last game was against the Steelers. When they cheap shotted him and rolled him, and he was out for the season. So I got you. Heard an interview with him today. He's looking forward to this game. So
see, that's good. That's good take. Yeah. Do you see? Okay, let's talk about a few players here. Deshaun Watson, will he throw for more than 2 touchdowns in this game?
I hope so.
Okay.
If he does, they're winning.
Do you think he throws for more than 250 in yardage?
I think the over under was 205 yards. So
okay, what would you think on that?
I think his legs will be more dangerous than his arm. That's what I think.
He had 4.
He averages about 5.5 carries a game over his career. I think he's going to go over that.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think Nick Chubb does tonight? What do you think? Are you expecting him to go over 80?
I think he can. I watched Christian McCaffrey runs against the Steeler defense, and a lot of people think, well, it was just, sweeps. No, he ran right up the gut on him. There was a couple long runs right up the gut. They get the ball back in the second half after the Steelers scored, and he rips off a 65-yard touchdown run.
Really?
First play.
Oh,
First
wow.
And it was like
Well,
off the left side of the line. He just, boom.
yeah, yeah. So do you think we're going to see Amari Cooper?
I wish he wouldn't play. They don't need him.
Right. Okay.
It's a game time decision.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him healthy for the rest of the season. I don't think he'll play. It would be nice, but if he's not 100%, let's not take a chance.
Sure. Okay. Well,
but conversely, we could see more of Cedric Tillman, which would be nice.
Yes. And I think that's been the speculation all week coming into this. The other big kind of headline offensively is DeJuan Jones will get the start tonight against TJ Watt. TJ Watt, they'll sprinkle him around. I'm excited to see Myles Garrett and what he does and where Jim Schwartz kind of throws him there. I think he's going to be playing everywhere again. It's kind of neat to see that, him not being just staggered on the one side of the field all day and being double teamed.
Well, Joe Woods moved him a little bit.
Yeah.
But Jim Schwartz, he's got the talent around him. He could put him anywhere he wants.
Yeah.
So
now Jadeveon Clowney, not to go back to his former Cleveland, he had a halfway decent game yesterday. Watching that Bengals game, he had a sack, he had a couple pass rushes, and somebody else was talking about how Jadeveon Clowney's no Zadarius Smith on some of the national.
No, he's not.
No. So. Yeah, it should be a lot of fun. Hey, I want to give away this hat.
Let's do it.
Should we give away the hat? All right, we got a winner.
Let's do it.
We got a winner. We want to thank everybody who has been reposting and retweeting this. We are going to continue to give away some hot items like this hat here. I've got it still in its cover. We got it mailed here all the way. It's a beautiful. Got the elf there. We're the Fanatical Elves Network, so we're going to have more products like this coming to you very soon. So stay tuned. Our winner tonight, drum roll please, is well, let me see. I had it. Hold on a second. It went away. Our winner. Oh, I got it. Our winner is none other than Marie. Marie, you are the winner. It is Marie 7912. That's your tag in Twitterland, X land. She is a born and raised in Northeast Ohio, Cleveland to Chicago, back to Cleveland now, loyal Cleveland sports fan, and a cat mom. She lives up there in Westlake, and we are excited to give this hat to you. Marie, congratulations. We'll be in contact to get that mailed to you. Again, thank you to all of you once again for supporting our Fanatical Elves Network. We can't do this without you, and I've just been so impressed and pleased and over the top, because it's been like, wow, Steve, we've gained all these new followers just in the last 2 weeks, and we've got our work cut out. We got to produce some good stuff and keep bringing these people back. I can't be stuttering on the air. I gotta.
No, you can't. Yeah, we gotta bring our A game now.
I think what really makes us.
We were bringing our A game before, but now we've really got to step it up.
Well, we're part of this Fans First Sports Network, and we've got some great affiliates along the way, and we've got a great affiliate there in Pittsburgh, though I don't like their football team. These guys have really helped spearhead a lot of this. We've got groups in San Francisco, Los Angeles, across the globe, baseball teams, basketball teams, and we're just growing this product every day, and people are tuning in and listening. So thank you for following us. The Browns versus the Steelers tonight. Any final predictions, Steve?
I think the Browns have the capacity to win this game. They are definitely have the talent. I think they'll get their mind set and won't go in there wide-eyed like past Brown teams have and choked. But I think it's a very talented team. Defense will set the tone. I'm always interested in seeing what happens on the coin toss. So if the Browns win it, I bet you Kevin Stefanski defers. So let's see what happens. I bet you Mike Tomlin, if he wins it, he does the same thing. I think both these coaches want to put their defense out there first.
See, now I think
all they got to do, all Deshaun Watson has to do is, like you said earlier, just make good decisions. That's it. I mean, he left some opportunities in the first half against Cincinnati. He came back in the second half and had better decision making. And Coach Stefanski realized that he was going to have to run Nick Chubb more. And those two factors helped them beat the Bengals. So,
yeah. Well, I got a 36-33 Browns score. I know it's going against everything that we've been talking about, but I'm sticking to it all week, so we'll stick to that. But the Browns do pull off the win. It's going to be a track race. Everybody have a great rest of your evening. Enjoy the festivities as you get closer to Monday Night Football tonight. We'll be pushing this out right now and give you plenty of time to listen to us, tune into us, watch us here on Twitter, on YouTube, and we'll be back maybe later for a post-game show. Until the next time, take care. We are the Fanatical Elves Network. Go Browns!
Go Browns!